Hi, and welcome to the Health for Life podcast for those who want to build strong trucks and strong bodies. This is Kevin Muniz and Trisha Foley, your wellness team, bringing you practical tips and tricks to improve your health.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening in. It's officially 2022, and we are super excited to bring you this podcast. If you're anything like the 60% of Americans that set New Year's resolutions, or you don't believe in resolutions but are wanting to make some changes this year, this podcast is for you.
Yeah, and remember, we'd love your feedback, comments, and reviews. So if you want to post them to our Facebook page or right here on the YouTube channel, we would love that.
Yes, please. So if I were a betting person and asked how many listening in today have set New Year's resolutions at some point in their life, I'd say we'd probably have well over 70% of listeners raising their hands right now. Unfortunately, only 8% of those who begin resolutions actually meet their goals.
Yeah, gyms are always packed this time of year, and by about March, it really starts to fizzle out.
Yeah, so today we are going to tackle why this happens and what you can do to be in that 8%.
So let's start with the why part. Why is it that so many people start out motivated to change and overhaul everything, but over time they fall back into their old habits?
Yeah, it's a good question. We all have the best intentions in mind, and some of us put a lot of thought and effort in. In fact, thought or lack thereof is partly to blame here. What I mean is that so many of us struggle because we're in this uphill battle against our habits. Some of these things we do automatically, definitely without thinking. And in the beginning, we're motivated, so we can override that. But it ends up taking a lot of effort. It's like trying to push that beach ball underwater, and you can do it for a little while, but eventually it pops back in your face.
Oh, that's a great analogy. And I'd agree that we underestimate the power of some of our bad habits. Like, who doesn't enjoy sitting down and snacking in front of the TV after work instead of going to the gym?
Yeah, unfortunately, since habits are automatic, we aren't always conscious, and we don't even realize that we're always doing them. So awareness is going to be key, and that lack of awareness can really drag us down when it comes to reaching our goals.
And that is so true. So going back to that example of snacking on the couch, I could see where this would be super important. If you aren't actively thinking about going to the gym, it's so easy to just sit down on the couch and not give it a second thought. Once you're down on the couch, it's over.
Yeah, and at that point, even if the gym does cross your mind, comfort would definitely override your motivation. So, yeah.
So let's dig into what a habit really is.
Yeah, sure. So habits are automatic responses that improve your perception of your immediate well-being. So they don't actually have to improve your well-being. I mean, in the moment, sitting on the couch feels really good, but I'm sure your doctor would argue differently. The first step is really being aware and just to understand your current habit and what benefit you really think you're getting from it in that moment. That way you can kind of begin to change it. This is the step that people skip going into that resolution.
Oh, that's interesting. So I may perceive that, decompressing on the couch with a bag of chips will make me feel better in the moment, but in reality, my health is not getting any better, and in fact, it's getting worse. What do I need to do to dig my way out of how I'm doing this?
Yeah, no, that's great. And you're right. I mean, those habits, you're doing it for a reason, right? So maybe ask yourself, what's going on? Are you sleep deprived? And you need to recognize that you need to get in bed earlier so you don't want to sit on the couch when you get home from work. Or maybe it's just that you've had a really stressful day. So actually getting to the gym would be a really great tool as a stress relief.
It's so simple, but yet it's so important. Now, aren't habits also more than just behaviors? I think people always think of habits as things they do, but habits can also be the thoughts that you have too, right?
Oh gosh, excellent point. Yeah, habits can definitely be thoughts like, I'm not athletic, and that could definitely keep you from wanting to go to the gym or exercising. Another one I hear is, I'll never be able to lose the weight. If you believe that, you'll prove yourself true every time.
Absolutely. So the power of the mind. So with this last example, if that person had the unconscious thought of, oh, I'll never lose weight, and then repeated it over and over and over, as they attempt to change their habits, they're essentially setting themselves up for sabotage.
Yeah. The thought of I'll never lose weight is that ball underwater. You're going to try to push it down and override it, but the habit thought is just too strong and it'll end up backfiring if you don't take time to address it first.
So what you're really saying is that you have to take that ball and begin to deflate it if you want to keep it underwater.
Exactly. So, you can cushion that thought a little bit or start to deflate it. You can take the I'll never lose the weight ball and change it a little bit, but it needs to be believable. So maybe changing it to losing weight is a possibility. The brain definitely is going to know if, you say something that you don't believe, it's going to be like, no, I'm not believing in that. But if you say something that could be true, then it makes it a lot easier. And from there, you can kind of adjust as you go.
Now that is so true. So when you catch yourself looking into the past to see what's possible for the future, you can catch yourself and reframe it into something that's believable that will keep you moving in that right direction.
Yeah, it definitely takes practice and mindfulness, but it's really powerful. And another helpful tool is creating a vision for your health.
Oh, can you tell us more about that?
Yes, a vision is another way of identifying your why. So, why are you doing all of this? Many just jump to, well, I just want to lose weight. Well, that's really not your why.
So a good rule of thumb is to keep asking why. Why are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to look better? Why? So you can gain confidence? Why? So you can get back to being active and improve your health? Why? Oh, is it for your kids or your grandkids and you want to be around for them and play with them? It's like now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. So keep asking yourself why until it starts feeling a little emotional. Then you're really onto something. And if you compare it to I'm doing this to lose weight, or I'm doing this so I can be around for my grandkids, which one is more motivating?
Oh, definitely the second one.
Yes. So these days, when you want to sit on the couch, think about those grandkids, right? Instant motivation.
Good point. Now, what about behavior-based habits? What do we need to do with established bad habits before we try to push them below the waterline and begin a new one?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's human nature to try to avoid those unpleasant feelings and make ourselves feel better. We try to avoid anything that makes us feel vulnerable or incompetent, uncertain, or uncomfortable. So, to remedy this, we indulge in things like food or maybe alcohol or wine, even drugs, or mindless behaviors like shopping and social media and even video games. The brain absolutely loves this, by the way.
So let me guess. When you try to substitute the pleasant and familiar feeling of playing video games or scrolling on the couch with putting your body through a major workout, it begins to fight you.
Yes, the alarms definitely go off. You're in that unfamiliar territory. Maybe you haven't done it in the past and you're literally putting your body through some physical stress. So it's just tough.
So most people aren't aware of this like internal alarm system, and it is normal. But instead, they just think that they lack the willpower and they start beating themselves up, and they aren't aware of the fact that their internal dialogue is so powerful. And unfortunately, these things really make it hard to succeed. But in essence, your brain's trying to protect you to get you to continue doing what's familiar and comfortable.
Yeah. So I always say embrace the uncomfortable, right? Like embrace the suck. If it sucks, you're on the right track. So that's super important. So just to kind of recap, here is a step-by-step approach. First, it's definitely helpful to create that vision. Get clear on your why. Why do you want this change? Then accept the new goal and accept the fact that it's going to be uncomfortable, and really check your thoughts. It's also helpful to know what thoughts are made up of. Habits have three parts: cue, reward, and reinforcement. Habits are learned and maintained through rewards and reinforcement. So the reward has to do with that perception that that behavior you're doing will result in that immediate well-being or pleasure, even if, remember, in reality, it really doesn't. The reinforcement is more long-term in that you notice that that behavior improves your quality of life, but reinforcement could be positive or negative.
Okay, so maybe our folks could start by jotting down their thoughts and identifying their current cues for why you're doing the things you do.
Yeah, that's a great first step. So taking that inventory is hard work, but in the end, you'll be much more successful.
All right, so let's throw a real life example out there. Let's say Dan loves to play video games, but he also wants to lose 10 pounds and has decided to go to the gym instead.
Yep. So I'm going to take a note from you and ask Dan why he really wants to lose weight. That's definitely not his vision.
Good point. So let's say Dan wants to lose weight because he and his buddies want to put a flag football team together.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Okay, so step number one, Dan needs to check his thoughts pertaining to losing the weight and going to the gym as well. So what is he telling himself? Does he feel super uncomfortable in the gym setting? If he has a lot of negative thoughts going on in his brain about the gym, he's going to definitely want to think through if that's the best fit. If he likes video games, he could, play to his strength and maybe do something a little bit different than going to the gym. Maybe it's playing a video game that's active. So he just needs to think of two things. If he wants to go to the gym, he needs to come up with that believable thought that makes him feel confident. Or he can definitely come up with just a alternative for the gym. There's plenty of active video game based workouts out there now. So that's great. He's also going to need to identify the cues for playing his video games. So cues are often a combination of time of day, where he is, his emotional state, other people, or even a preceding event, like maybe an alarm clock goes off. So in this example, Dan's cues are the time of day after work and the location, which is in his living room. Being aware of these cues can give him the next strategy, tackling his environment. If he comes home and he's always tired and wants to, sit on that couch, maybe he puts his workout shoes by the couch, or he puts that new video game that's active on the cushion to remind him that he needs to play that one instead of his regular video games. Finally, Dan needs a reward. So maybe on Friday, he rewards himself by playing a new video game of his choice.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. So when you take the time to slow down and evaluate your current habits, you can really start to begin to peel back layers, and then you can begin to design goals that work in your favor.
Exactly. And it's still not going to be easy at first, but going in with the expectation of this is going to feel uncomfortable and having that reward in mind will help you stick with that new behavior. The positive reinforcement of becoming more fit and having more energy will also help to build his momentum over time in reaching that goal.
That is some powerful stuff right there. So we'd love to hear your ideas and strategies as well. So make sure to post them on our Facebook page or just right here in the comments on YouTube. We would love if you could share the link with others so they can hear this and they can share us their tips and tricks. If you want more tips and tricks, you can schedule a health coaching session at no cost to you just by using the Premise Health app. Thanks for listening, and to reach out to hear more from us, you can find us at
Trisha.foley@premisehealth.com
or at kevin.muniz@consultant.volvo.com. Thanks, everybody. Bye.